Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 28 deal sheet video with me, Holly Shand. It's a busy midweek before we reach that Friday deadline. We've got 8 teams in action in European and midweek Premier League fixtures, so hold on to your transfers until Friday if you can. Let's get into it. Starting off with defenders then, and Ben Chilwell is firmly on the buy list given his current form. We've got a goal and an assist in his last 2 games, and his underlying numbers are really encouraging as well. He was second across all players for successful crosses in game week 27 with 3, and he was also third for corners taken with 5. So he's clearly involved in a lot of set piece action for Chelsea, which is a really great route to points for him. Good upcoming fixtures as well, particularly in game week 28. Everton at home provides great clean sheet potential. On the monitor list is Brentford's Ben Mee. We've seen a little bit of a dip in form from Brentford. I'm not even sure at the moment whether Mee is great value for money from that Brentford defence. He's currently the 5th most owned defender in the game. So he's a player that we're obviously going to hold on to this week if we own him. But looking ahead to double game week 29, it could be a strategic move to go elsewhere if we don't see a pickup in form from Brentford, who haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 4 games. On the sell list, Luke Shaw remains. I think the suspension for Casemiro is huge for Manchester United. He's going to miss the next 4 Premier League games, which is obviously going to have a knock-on effect on Manchester United's defensive form, as we saw a few weeks ago when he was also suspended. I think he misses 3 Premier League games actually, and he'll also miss the FA Cup quarter-finals. So I think given that Shaw doesn't have a fixture in 28 and Casemiro is suspended, I think it could be time to move off Shaw. He is currently the 3rd most owned defender in the game, but I think there's probably better value for money elsewhere right now. Moving into midfield then, and on the buy list is Leicester's James Maddison with a trip to Brentford up this week. In game week 27, he was top for key passes with 5. He is such a crucial cog in this Foxes attack. Great fixtures in the schedule as well, including a double game week 29 with an attractive pair of fixtures. And when you have a look at all players in FPL this season, among the regular starters, James Maddison is in the top 10 for points per match with 5.3, and he's been consistently providing these returns when fit over the last couple of seasons. It could just be his final season at Leicester, but I'm sure he's going to end it with a bang. On the monitor list, the player that caught my eye in game week 27 was Said Benrahma at West Ham because of his fantastic underlying numbers. Obviously, he got a goal in that game, but he was also top for shots with 10, top for shots on target with 5, and also top for shots in the box with 5. So they're really encouraging numbers. Obviously, we need to remember that West Ham don't have a fixture this week, but they do then double in game week 29. A huge differential for our FPL squads, one to keep an eye on. On the sell list is Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne. Right now, I feel like he is one of the most sold midfielders this week, and rightly so, because we have to remember that City don't have a fixture this week, and then in double game week 29, they only have a single fixture at home to Liverpool. And right now, I don't feel like we need to own a double up on City attackers at the moment. I don't think it's worth holding on to City mids for this period. De Bruyne has only played 75 minutes over the last 3 Premier League games. Obviously, we'll find out this midweek whether Manchester City are to progress to the Champions League quarter-finals. If that does happen, then it makes City assets even less appealing. So that's one to keep an eye on. Moving on to forwards then, and on the buy list is Harry Kane. I've been banging the drum for Kane for a few weeks now. He was less of a differential than I hoped for in game week 27 because of the fact that he's got a fixture in blank game week 28. A lot of people had changed their minds to holding Kane, and he was the king of the game week as things stand in game week 27 with 13 points with a brace, and that is really encouraging for him. Penalties is obviously helping his total as well, but the thing that makes Kane most attractive for this week is his captaincy potential. A game against Southampton is a good time to play Southampton, given their current form. And Kane's got a ridiculously good record against them. I think he's averaging more than one attacking return per game against them in the Premier League. So I think there's a convincing argument to buy in Kane this week. I know he doesn't have a double game week in 29, but the fixtures still remain good for Spurs. He's in great form. He's having his best ever season in FPL, and I think you just see him like a Haaland of a mainstay of our squads and just stick with him through thick and thin. On the monitor list is Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, a player that I'm looking to buy this week, but I do think that if you are buying any forward this week, Kane has to get priority over Watkins. But he's been doing solidly in recent games. He's scored in 6 of his last 7 games. He's one of those players that when he hits the purple patch, he just keeps going and going. Bournemouth at home, great fixture for him this week. A double game week coming up the following week after the international break as well. And we've seen Aston Villa be much improved in recent games. And the thing I like most about Watkins was seeing his underlying numbers from game week 27, where he topped the charts for non-penalty expected goals at 0.94. On the sell list though, a really surprising inclusion. You are seeing it correctly. Erling Haaland, I think we can get away with selling him just for the short term and look to buy him back in game week 30, because it's a blank for Manchester City this week. Liverpool at home in game week 29, which he could deliver in, given his form at home, given Liverpool's defensive form of late. But I still think we can get away with it. I mean, he was top for big chances with 3 in game week 27, but he only got 1 goal. We've not seen, lots of massive hauls from him in recent games. So I think it's perfectly fine to sell Haaland this week, buy a Kane or a Watkins, look to get Haaland back in game week 30. And certainly keep the funds there to enable you to bring him back easily, because it is effectively going to cost you 8 points to transfer Haaland out and then transfer him back in again. But I think another player could easily outscore him by 8 points or more if they have 2 or 3 fixtures compared to Haaland's 1 in this mini period. And it could be the enabler to allow you to get 11 players out for blank game week 28. We do need to bear in mind that you are going to lose some team value, particularly if you bought Haaland right at the start of the season, because he started the season at 11.5. So if you navigate to the transfers page of the FPL website and look at the list view, you can see what price you bought Haaland at, the purchase price. So in my case, it's 11.5 million. His current price is 12.2. You only bank half the profit. So if you sell Haaland, if you have Haaland since the start of the season, you sell him now, you're only going to be able to sell him at 11.8, and provided he doesn't go down in value in this period, which could happen given his ownership, then it will cost you an extra 0.4 million to buy him back. So that's the downside of selling Haaland, but I do think that there's enough upside to make that move this week. Let me know in the comments then, are you going to make the move Haaland out? Will you be replacing him with a Kane, a Watkins, or another player? I aim to get all of your questions answered within 24 hours of this video going live. I will be back with the team selection on Thursday.